Hello. Today is Friday, July 1st. We're doing space, nonsense, and robot today. Also, we have an orange soda.
And there's the debate whether or not this one's been done before. I think it has.
I don't know. Our editor brought it in. He got it from an international market, I think is where he said he got it. And he was like, oh, you guys should try it. And we kind of forgot about it last week, but then I remembered.
Iron Brew, carbonated flavored soft drink.
We should engagement challenge. Is it earn or iron? Because there's a little weightlifter on it. So,
I read it as earn, but
yeah. But I could see that with like a heavy Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Like you could type, that could be the same thing.
Ingredients: carbonated water, sugar, citric acid. Although in the U.S. they can call corn syrup sugar now, which is not great. Citric acid, natural and artificial flavorings, including caffeine and quinine.
this is definitely it because he mentioned that to me, that it has that in it.
Sodium benzoate and aspartame. I never like aspartame.
I hate it when they mix artificial and regular sweetener.
23 grams of sugar, but only 94 calories and 500 milliliters.
They decided to, like, no, we're going to add the aspartame, but still 23 grams of sugar. Yeah. That must be some kind of combination they figured out is more addictive.
Ooh, it's got the bubblegum orange bouquet.
Ooh. That'll protect you against malaria too.
Wow, this is 100% bubblegum with just a hint of orange zest.
So that's a low score then?
I don't know. I wouldn't really even characterize this as like an orange drink. It tastes like the the really cheap wax paper bubblegum. It's that in drink flavor.
Is the word orange anywhere on the packaging? Because it says it's a carbonated flavored drink.
Oh, but they just colored it orange?
It just says citric acid.
I don't think this is advertised as orange.
But I think even like Pepsi has citric acid. Yeah, this has citric acid. It's not orange at all.
But
It
this
just
is
says carbonated
orange.
flavored orange drink. I mean, there's maybe a hint of like orange zest, but I think that's the citric acid.
Interesting. Why
Yeah.
would they color it orange?
The rare flop.
Ah.
What's your letter grade for this?
Well, it's not an orange soda, really. I mean, it's a color. The color is orange, but it's not.
Did not finish.
DNF, yeah.
Wow. That's definitely the worst one ever, right?
It's not bad as a drink, but it's not an orange drink. Not really. It's vaguely reminiscent of an orange. It's what I imagine Vogons would give you if they were asked to give you something that you described to them as orange.
Would you say, now based on the packaging, I have to assume this, but would you say that is a good thing to consume if you are getting into powerlifting or bodybuilding?
It seems like because of the amount of sugar that it has, that I'm going to be more awake for this episode of the news, but we shall see.
You just pounded a coffee.
Well, yeah. And actually that was a homemade coffee, so it was really nice.
Well, let's talk about some robots as you enjoy the rest of that. I mean, you're still going for it as much as you've maligned it.
I mean, it's not a bad drink. It's just not an orange drink.
Okay. Well, maybe, you know what? Maybe you need to hear stories about back when orange drinks were good and pure and normal from your grandma. But what if she's dead?
Alexa
will soon be able to read stories as your dead grandma. That wasn't what Amazon was going for. That's what the article writer wants as a headline.
Well, I said well, they can do it with like 1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute. They can emulate any voice with 1 minute.
That's the voice, but they need the personality too, right?
I would think, yeah.
Although not
Otherwise
if they're
it'll
reading a
sound like
story.
this.
If they're reading a story, it doesn't matter, right?
Well, you kind of want that though, especially if you're reading to kids.
What if you combine this with the Google AI chatbot? There's going to be a lot of autistic children that think their dead parent is living inside the chatbot AI.
Or just children in general.
I didn't know grandma was a National Socialist. How did she hide that?
Grandma sure does sound a lot like 4chan.
And we hear a lot about AI being used to surveil us and track us and, ruin our lives. But what if it's that same thing, but now being couched as something that is good universally? Can we condemn it?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Ukraine is using artificial intelligence to catch people sabotaging the war effort. What do they do against false positives? I mean, it's like,
yeah, I think that's just cracked eggs. Have you seen any of the videos when they're going house to house and finding the the spies inside Ukraine.
I've only seen the videos where they were wildly successful, and the dude was like, "Yeah, I probably shouldn't have posted that," which is, probably not the best.
I don't know what kind of intelligence they're working on, but a lot of those people seem very surprised.
Yeah, yeah. And then they're like, "Did you say this? Do you have this thing?" I mean, the videos are real, and then it's like, "Oh, how did you know that?"
Well, Google has their DeepMind, and it has learned to play almost every kind of competitive game. But what about a game that's not competitive? What about one that's very open and it's not about winning? It's just about enjoying the experience. Can AI figure that out?
Learning to play Minecraft with video pre-training, VPT. Yes, it turns out you can train an AI to play Minecraft pretty well.
All those moving blocks is very hard to watch.
Yeah, I don't like that. The only thing I had thought about when I read this article was like, is this something I'm gonna have to consider in the future when we judge the Minecraft server? Is this a real player or is this just an AI?
So this has to do with letting the AI watch video. First, you train it. So you actually have somebody play the game so that the AI can learn. It's like, okay, I understand that this button combination results in that on the screen. Then you show them hours and hours, 70,000 hours of YouTube videos of people playing Minecraft so they can figure out, it's like, okay, well, if I want that to happen, I just need to go to my toolbox and apply these tools in that order. And seems to be working pretty well.
I wonder if the AI understands that it has to collect certain kinds of things in order to...
It does. Yeah, because it talks about like if you want to craft like planks, you have to get wood first and then put that into a crafting table. And then from there you keep building.
I wonder how big the buffer is. Like, let's say that I want to make something that requires wood, but I'm going to buy them with no trees.
Does it understand?
How far will it go? And then will it return all the way back to that same spot and build like one chest and then go get another tree?
Yeah. But what if you spawn in a desert biome?
Yeah. That would be fun to try to trick it with those kinds of things. And speaking of AIs that might be tricked, I sure hope this one doesn't get tricked, because once again, this would be a very easy way to poison the well, wouldn't it?
Amazon launches CodeWhisperer, a GitHub Copilot-like AI pair programming tool. So you just start writing code, and then the AI is like, is this what you want to write next? Do you need this? Maybe this.
CodeWhisperer, I need to put OAuth on this website, and I needed to, do all of these various tokens and stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, I've got that. Just use this crypto mining script. It's like, wait a minute, CodeWhisperer. I don't think that's what I need here. No, it definitely is. Definitely.
Don't worry about it. Don't think about it.
And that is learning from open source.
Yeah. Explicitly open source. Unlike Copilot. Copilot has definitely been trained on code that is not open source code, or not just open source code. And this announcement was made at the time when Microsoft said, you know what, we're going to charge $100 a year if you want to use Copilot.
But open source code is not always good.
Yeah.
It can be terrible. So I don't know. We've learned about AI creating a lot of different art. Would you call this art, Krista?
Culinary art.
Oh.
Taste of the Future. First artificial intelligence created craft beer to be released at NOLA Brewing Company.
What if it's just terrible?
Yeah, this didn't have really a lot of...
It was a focus group, essentially. So basically they sat down a focus group and they sort of broke all of the flavors into choices. So they put different questions in front of you. You would choose a series of choices, and then whatever the most popular was, the AI was tasked with making a beer that was like that. I'd like to taste it.
Yeah.
I don't really like beer, so I feel like I'd be a poor judge.
I don't like beer either, but I know that when I drink beer, I know that, oh, this is not as good as the beer that I do like. Or that I like the most.
They're offering 100 customers a free AI beer with their booking, which is, like $100 for the beer tour.
So they're not actually going to sell it, which means it's probably not that great.
Yeah.
War robots are really, really becoming more popular. And I think the recent events have made the public more accepting for that kind of thing. Remember, they came up with that one robot with a gun, and everybody was like, oh, no, killer robots. And everybody was like, that'll never happen. We'll never have killer robots.
Israel Ministry of Defense to test a drone packing advanced robotic tank. So it's a regular tank that launches drones that are insanely lethal.
I don't love it.
It's also got that 30 millimeter cannon.
I don't feel good about it.
Also lethal, I think. So yeah, interesting, and it is fully autonomous. Israel, of course, they're not a huge country, so their military, while it's quite advanced, because we paid for it, they don't have a lot of people. So this is good for. Plus, if you've ever played XCOM or any of the XCOM clones, you know that having that autonomous vehicle with you is super useful.
If your city gets attacked by giant ants.
Yeah. Or Palestinians. Oh, F's in the chat.
Rip.
So many F's.
NASA has started shutting down Voyager after 50 years. NASA must start limiting the craft processes in order to keep them operating until 2030. So they already started shutting down Voyager. Like, if you read the article, it's like, wait a minute, they already started shutting it down. So
But I think
Slow
we've
news week.
reached a new power threshold.
yeah. So the nuclear generator in it is producing about 4 less watts per year. And so now they have to start turning off even more stuff in it.
Hey, it's like Lake Mead.
But much like the Mars robots, it has already outperformed all expectations.
Yeah.
Can't take anything away from old Voyager up there. Doing good, both of them. Good job, guys. I shouldn't gender them, right? South Korea is a technological mecca, which makes this an interesting headline because I would have thought they would have already done this, but no, it's the first.
South Korea launches a satellite with its own rocket for the first time. So now South Korea can put stuff in orbit too. Woo!
Getting crowded up there.
I think there's some polite applause from other countries that have already sent up a rocket. Like, oh, good job.
Probably not China.
The next story should have been the SpaceX story. It's like, not to be outdone. Elon Musk says, "Oh yeah," but you'll have to wait for that lead in.
So the other thing that is, in the news a lot right now is energy generation. Seems like
We need more of it.
it's not enough.
Yesterday.
Not enough energy generation. So we need more, but people are very anti-nuclear these days.
That's weird.
They seem to be as anti-nuclear as they are like coal and oil, which is weird. So maybe part of that fear is just like, well, what if it blows up? How about if we come up with a great way to test them?
NASA taps 3 companies to design nuclear power plants for the moon.
It's not quite the same conditions as what you'd get on Earth. It wouldn't be a good test habitat.
Well, it would be more extreme, right? I guess you wouldn't have weather to worry about, but you
Yeah.
would have like little rocks blasting it all the time.
Does the moon get moonquakes?
Yeah.
Does it?
Probably.
Doesn't have tectonic plates though.
I think it's still active in its core, isn't it? I don't know. Chat. I'm
Yeah,
sure will
chat,
correct
tell
us.
us. Yeah, I'd have to look it up.
Could definitely worry about micrometeorites and
Debris. Yeah,
James
there's no
Webb.
atmosphere.
James Webb just got blasted. So eventually that could hit. What if we poisoned the moon before we ever got up there?
That's very on brand for humanity as a whole.
that was something we were going to do to threaten the Soviets. Is like send one of our super nuclear weapons to
Nuke
the
the
moon.
moon.
Just to be like, look at our weapons. Look how destructive it is.
That'd be funny if we, 50 years the planet's just a hellscape, and the aliens show up and they're like, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna move you all to the moon and help you get started there." And be like, So we
You mean like one of the moons for like Jupiter? Ours is kind of.
Can you terraform Mercury instead? We haven't messed that one up yet.
We tried, but
And Jupiter. Now, Krista, you're of course terrified of black holes because I assume because of
the spaghettification.
the never-ending greed with which they consume all.
Yes.
But what if? Did you know that the only thing protecting you from Jupiter was the sun's gravitational pull?
Yeah.
If that ever breaks down, it's coming right for you.
Well, then I'm more scared of the sun. Scientists find remains of cannibalized baby planets in Jupiter's cloud-covered belly. What a visceral headline.
It's a great headline.
Yeah.
Harry Baker from space.com, kudos on that headline.
So it turns out that there's a whole bunch of planetary cores at the core of Jupiter.
Underneath all the gas.
Yeah, and things are not as distributed as we expected. We found more heavy elements than we expected, which just means that Jupiter gobbled up a lot of stuff. But that might actually be part of why Earth developed the way that it did, is because Jupiter acted as a shield.
Yeah, it was keeping things out of our asteroid belt and from hitting Earth.
What a bro. We should be nicer to Jupiter.
Jupiter also has the big red spot. It's really like a top 8 planet.
Top 8 tourist destination in the solar system.
Yeah.
Are you putting Earth number 1 in that?
And Earth is number 1.
Okay.
Jupiter's probably number 2.
Yeah, and we learned last week that, what was it? Was it Atlas Rockets, or what was the name of that rocket company? Anyway, they failed There are still rocket companies out there who cannot do it. They'll plan for months and they cannot do it. Meanwhile, Musk, it's nothing anymore.
SpaceX launches 55 satellites in 3 launches in less than 2 days. More than 1 launch a day? What? It was just had to show those South Koreans who's boss.
How
Yeah,
many,
was that just to flex?
yeah, how many people had to work a 12-hour shift
A
just
lot.
to accomplish that?
How much fuel was burned?
Did they get a bonus, you think? Something tells me no.
No.
Not likely.
There's a meme in the computer world where it's like, oh, you can run Doom on anything. And of course, as we go forward with technology, that's going to be more and more true. It'll be eventually to the point where those penny plastic chips on the
Yeah.
bananas, if you hook them up to a screen, they might be able to run Doom.
You can run Doom on a chip from a $15 Ikea smart lamp. Software engineer Niccolo Rothschild demoed his creation in a video that shows the chip running a memory optimized version of Doom on his custom hardware. So he added a keyboard interface, a mouse interface, 8 megabytes of flash for storage, and was just barely able to get Doom running on the Cortex ARM 33 on this thing with like 192 kilobytes of RAM.
So all you have to do is invest about 1,000% more in hardware to get it to run.
I like to imagine he's doing that in the IKEA. Like he's in the office desk section just tinkering away.
There's just a gallon jug of meatballs next to him. It's, sir, you need to leave.
I'm doing work. Another employee comes over, is like, leave him, let him be.
I don't understand this at all.
I added we might have missed it. I added a link here that kind of explains it a little bit, but it's still terrible.
Where'd you add it?
I added it into the document, but it might have been after you made the 1 tabs.
Oh yeah, I did that at like 11 a.m. is going to be your cutoff.
Yeah.
Like somewhere around that.
Because I was like, how does this work?
Well, explain it to us.
Ohio State University awarded trademark on the.
That's right. The article, is what they trademarked. So apparently there is a non-trivial amount of people around Ohio who just associate OSU with the word the. And a lot of people who make t-shirts were doing unlicensed t-shirts with just the word the and then the OSU logo on it. That being said, this is still very stupid.
So now they're going to go after those people?
I guess so.
So you're going to victimize your fans for the most used word in the language, probably, right?
Yes.
We should do level 1 shirts with the.
Maybe A.
We should.
Do you think A?
I don't know if anyone would buy it.
No,
Let us know.
not A. What? Not A. Not
I?
the.
I.
Not I. Something that's 3 letters or more.
No, I'm saying what's the most used word?
That's probably a
think so?
hot contender.
Any linguists in the audience? Most of
And-
you are just going to make stuff up.
Yeah.
But that's ridiculous.
It is. It's still ridiculous, but it makes a little more sense, I guess.
But like,
Like, because when I first read the headline, I was like, how?
Yeah.
But I guess that's because some people associate that word with OSU, but I'm like, how?
but if I get enough people to associate something with me, can I then steal that?
Apparently,
forever?
if you have enough money, probably. Now, imagine if you are a student there and you find out your tuition's going up, and then you realize they just spent a bunch of money on a lawsuit for this.
And hardwood floors in the dorms.
Yeah.
Going to college right now is stupid.
And it's not even like the fake industrial hardwood, which actually, it's like high traffic. We can't put real wood down. What if we drop a computer? That's the problem we have here. No, it's real hardwood.
They do real stone countertops in a lot of those dorms now.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's insane. That's nicer than most of my apartments before I bought a house.
Where was that when we were in school?
Yeah.
Our dorms were terrible.
Ours were just cinder block
It
walls.
was, it was all Formica and tile.
Yeah.
Not only that, but our beds were literally worse than the prison beds.
Yeah.
Literally. Not figuratively. Like, you can look it up on the state website, what they buy for the prisons. And it was better than what the university was buying for the students.
Well, now we know about in China, there's this whole idea that you want a Western, preferably Caucasian person on your board. You want them to go to meetings with you. But it's known, it's an open secret, that those people are almost never qualified for the job. They are hired for the color of their skin and for their nationality, and they just go around and they shake hands and they're happy.
And they speak English probably.
Yeah,
and
probably
it's
don't
like,
even
oh.
speak Mandarin. But somehow that's still a desirable thing. I cannot see any other way that to interpret this.
No, this is
think-
a marketing thing.
Yeah, I think this is a marketing thing for them to market their agency.
This
That's
is
it.
this. Yeah, it's the same thing except it's more disgusting.
Edelman hires Gen Z cohort and appoints a ZEO. So they're going to employ 100 under 25s in order to offer insights to the Gen Z consumer mindset.
I think part of it is that Gen Z doesn't have any money, much like a lot of millennials. And also, Gen Z tends to buy a little less, partly because they don't have any money, but also because like sustainability is becoming more of a thing for the younger generation. And marketing companies do not know how to exploit that yet.
But why do we want them if they don't have any money? Why bother?
Because eventually your old people are going to die.
I guess, yeah.
They're going to inherit the old people money.
There's not,
There's not much, yeah.
Boomers ain't leaving nothing behind.
Scorched earth.
Microplastics. Yeah.
Microplastics, yeah. What do you mean I owe $175 million? What?
Well, now, after reading this article, there maybe is some merit to this, but at the same time, this is just a license to do whatever you want. This is more like defund the police kind of stuff. And there are going to be so many good videos, but I would not want to live here at all.
Chicago police are no longer allowed to chase people on foot just for running away if it's a petty or minor offense, like
Non-felony.
speeding, yeah,
Parking violation.
drinking alcohol in public. And this is because they were chasing some people that were running away, and they shot a kid and another guy.
They also have a tactic, and I've actually seen videos of this, and it's kind of disgusting, where they'll get a bunch of cars and park around the corner, and everybody turns lights on at the same time, and they just slam into like a high-rise, not lobby, but what do you call the open area? You know, where like
The atrium?
Courtyard?
courtyard, where all the 3 high-rise buildings, and there's a courtyard, and they blow in there, and they just start chasing anybody who runs. Like, they don't have any suspicion, but if you run, then you must be doing something wrong.
Well, like imagine you forgot to pay your like parking meter or something, and a cop stops you, and maybe you don't hear him, or maybe you run away because you're crazy, and they just start firing in an open street. Like, that's insanity.
Yeah.
But on the other side, people are going to, they're going to knock over little stores and everything and just run. Or, for example, if you pass a bad chick, nonviolent, right? Yeah. Just walk away. I was watching a video, and it was a compilation of people stealing police cars, which happens apparently more often than anybody thinks. One guy stole a police car, and the whole, 3 agencies were chasing him on the interstate. They'd shut down the entire interstate. It was just him and them. And they pit maneuvered him, and he went into the woods. And so then they come down, they got their shields, and, there's an army of them. He gets out of that car and steals an SUV.
He's like a GTA character in real life.
He got a SWAT SUV the second time. How embarrassing. He got out and laid down on the ground because he knew what was coming, and they still beat the crap out of him. They didn't care that the helicopter was up there.
5 stars,
Oh, yeah. The heat. You'll lose that heat. And school zones, I mean, come on. I think a great lesson for children that it's important that they learn, and if we have to lose a couple for them to learn this, is don't play in the road. How about that? That should be a
Was that
learning
not a
experience.
thing for most kids? Like you hear a car coming, everyone goes, car, and then everyone runs out.
Get out of the road, idiots.
Yeah.
Longueuil, I don't know how I'm saying that right.
You're probably not, but I cannot predict it.
Police the police there are testing a project using kids to detect speeding in school zones. Basically, the kids wear a backpack that's a speed meter. At first, I thought this was for kids that had detention, but no, this is apparently some kids working together with local law enforcement.
Stupid narc
Snitches,
kids.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, yeah, no.
Don't associate with those kids. Also, how long until one of those backpacks burst into flame?
Right.
It's got to have a decent battery to run that radar, right?
Or the kid who's supposed to be working the corner is actually out on the playground, and he's having his friends run past it to see how high of a speed they can get.
Although I guess the radar wouldn't be in the backpack. It's probably wirelessly getting a feed from another radar that's mounted somewhere, right?
There's the meme where there's the guy on the 3-wheel plastic kid's bike, and he speeds past the speed camera, flipping it off while drifting.
Yeah, and spins around. Yeah, I love that video.
That's great.
And of course, we need as many animal stories as we can get in the nonsense section. This one is a little bit of a stretch for an animal story, but what a great headline.
Microscopic mites that reproduce on our face at night could face evolutionary oblivion, say scientists. So they live in our pores, but they come out at night, and they're part of healthy skin. But it turns out that
they only come out at night to breed.
Yeah,
They eat what's inside of our pores, which is actually good for us.
But they're losing genes at an alarming rate.
So one of the things that they've studied is these guys had some sort of mechanism, like we've got the circadian rhythm, right? So they had something inside their bodies that told them when to wake up and when to go to sleep. But adaptation for living on humans, they simply got rid of that unnecessary genetic structure, and they use the hormones in our oils that we secrete to determine when we're sleeping and waking. And that's what they use to sleep and wake.
And all of us have messed up sleep schedules, so
This is such a microcosm for us on planet Earth, right? What if these guys get nuclear weapons?
in high school, it probably looked like someone used a nuke on my face. Got some stress acne.
Do you think that was like good or bad for those guys? Did you have more or less than everybody else?
I probably had about average. It feels like a lot more when you're young. It probably was not good for them, right? Because if they're supposed to be cleaning out your pores, if your pores are blocked, can they not get out?
Maybe you needed more.
Are they trapped?
Maybe you needed more. Also, you get them. So 90% of the population has them, right?
Right.
You get them from breastfeeding. So some people could go probably a decent amount into their life before they get them. And 10%, how do you go your whole life without ever getting face to face with somebody who's got
Forever
them?
alone.
I guess so, right?
But even if you just go to like a hotel or a summer camp
Yeah.
or like something where you're sharing contact with other people.
It might not be able to survive long not on skin contact. So
Oh, and they would have to be out. They're not out during the awake phase. So yeah.
Never
Maybe-
get invited to a sleepover as a kid. That's sad.
If you want them, what you need to do is find someone who's sleeping and then slam your face into theirs.
That's called assault.
It's just rub all, like a cat. You got to rub all over. In Mexico, they have a cartel problem. And the cartels are essentially more powerful than the government at this point, and that results in shootouts pretty regularly. But this one was extra sad.
a small monkey in a bulletproof vest was found dead after a bloody cartel shootout in Mexico. Gunter, no!
Did he have the pox? They were trying to get him to stop. It's not a dog.
The tweet is censored, of course. We probably don't want to show it off anyway.
No,
But they also have this this great video where one of the cartel guys' tiger got out and it was just wandering the streets.
And this woman's just like, just walking by.
Point your phone at it. Anytime there's any kind of weird thing or a crisis, just point your phone at it, right? That's what we do now.
There was a bear found not far from us, which is a little weird. I mean, not massively, but like they're not commonly found in this area.
You should tame it.
I don't know if they actually. So the people took pictures of it. They took their phone out, took photos, and were like, "Oh my gosh, we can't believe it's here." And I don't think like Fish and Wildlife didn't come out and get it, so it's probably still wandering around somewhere.
Sasha, the circus bear, makes her escape.
Yeah. No, I mean it's just a little black bear. But
Just be careful about letting Rue out on her own to pee.
well, we don't let her out. She's always on a leash. She's a runner.
Asia is getting a lot of flooding right now. Have you guys watched those Chinese
Yeah,
videos?
it's really
Man,
scary.
it is just smashing them. And they have all those water redirection projects. I think those are just getting crushed.
They're overwhelmed.
Yeah. But Malaysia as well has some problems, but they're looking at the bright side. They say, hey, this might be a silver lining.
Malaysia MP clarifies comments on how floods can be opportunities to promote volunteer tourism. Like, nobody's going to come here if all of our stuff is flooded. No, you don't understand. We're going to get volunteers that are going to come here to help us.
I mean, he might not be wrong, but I mean,
That's
do you
a
really
bad-
want to
that's a-
depend on that?
It's a really
But-
bad take.
But at the same time, you're looking at the people who are coming to help you and you're trying to figure out how to take their money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he got some bad feedback from that.
Yeah.
Had to walk that one back. Although a lot of people, some of the quotes in there was like, how can you be worried about how to benefit from this when you're not worried about stopping the floods? Stopping the floods? What's he going to do? You going to go out there with a shovel?
He needs to do an anti-rain dance. Send some of the rain this way. We've had rain in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, my lawn is just, it's basically given up at this point. Krista, you are a Pepsi drinker.
Yeah.
I believe that you prefer it to Coke. Is that not the truth?
Yeah. I don't drink Pepsi nearly as often as I used to. I do drink it on news days, but other than that,
So once a week?
Yeah.
Probably actually more like 3 times a week at least, right?
no.
No?
Well, no, I don't buy it for home. I purposely don't buy it for home so I won't drink it.
Well, that's not what this man did.
Yeah.
He took the opposite approach.
Man says he spent $8,500 a year on Pepsi addiction.
But don't worry, he got hypnotized and he's all better now.
I don't know. I think there probably will be some lasting damage.
Yeah.
He
30
worked,
cans of Pepsi a day.
and he worked at the store, so he would just pick up some stuff on his way home, drink it all overnight.
Is this man from here?
No, this is
Like, this is a very, like, my family's really into soda still.
this is UK, right?
Yeah, this is
Wow.
7 million sugar cubes worth.
Ooh.
But he got hypnotized and he's been fine ever since.
You think it'll last?
No, I think this is probably a stealth ad for the hypnotist.
Oh, I was thinking for Pepsi, but
I don't think Pepsi wants us to think it's addictive.
yeah.
They want it to be addictive. They don't want us to think it's
Yeah.
addictive. I'm not going to make the joke about the catchphrase. We're better than that.
Triumph of the insult comic dog was detained last night by Capitol Police. Robert
didn't-
Smigel and 8 staffers for the Late Show with Stephen Colbert were reportedly arrested in the Capitol building.
I didn't like this picture. I didn't like seeing the man behind the curtain, or the man behind the puppet, if you will. Makes me
Smigel,
uncomfortable.
I'm guessing since Smigel works for Colbert now that he's like a big lefty, but isn't that a little bit problematic considering he's the inventor and the only person I think who wrote for the ambiguously gay duo? Are we forgetting that? Is that okay now? It seemed like they were trying to get into the offices of some of the more incendiary, like Lauren Boebert. Is that her name, Boebert?
Yeah.
Well, it said
A
that
word I never say out loud, but read all the time.
it said that they were loitering in the hallway, but that they had been interviewing people with permission earlier in the day.
They've been asked to leave,
Ah.
and they refused to do so. But I think what they were trying to do is they were trying to get shots with those people's offices in the background, or like referencing them which is interesting because remember the guy that went in Pelosi's office?
Oh, yeah.
How many years did he get?
So he went in the office.
Think Smigel's gonna get? Oh, they were probably looking to do that. Come on.
Also, if they're just looking for like B-roll, are most people gonna realize whose office is whose unless it's got a name on it?
I think they do have names on.
Yeah.
Because that's one guy. The guy stole Pelosi's like plaque, right?
Ah.
Yeah.
It's also interesting they were using cell phones for a lot of the coverage for TV. It's like, well, that's
Which-
Put it on TikTok.
Which proves they were trying to be stealthy about it, right? We can't be carrying a camera. But with everything surrounding that area, you got to think better than that, right? Although, hell of a bit of PR for Colbert, right?
Maybe that's all it was. That's how I feel about anything anymore. I'm like, this is just a PR stunt, isn't it?
Do you think that about this? You think this woman read the story about the elephant last week and she was like, yeah.
Put it to him.
That could be me. Woman charged with felony after spitting on corpse in a casket in a funeral home, records show. Yet felony, like desecration of a corpse, I have a feeling that charge is not going to stick.
It is.
That's-
Even looking over the corpse part, it's kind of disrespectful to the mortician who spent a lot of time on that makeup, who now has to wipe the spit off and reapply.
Yeah. Now, spitting is an assault. Can you assault a corpse?
Yes.
I mean, I know you can.
Yeah.
But is
Is there legal for
I
that?
guess that's still just the desecration charge. So
Yeah, I think so.
it's not a good move.
Yeah.
It's low class, I think.
We're going to say something controversial on this news program, and it's spitting on corpses is bad.
What if it's let me discount you there, Krista. What if it's the corpse of Vladimir Putin?
He's dead. He's already lost.
This is just, of course this happened.
Yes.
Of course, who thought that this was an okay thing to do? This is the most insane thing. But here's the thing about it. I'm almost positive some of our leaders
Yes.
Oh,
are
yeah.
carrying
Absolutely.
around the same kind of thing.
Japanese city loses memory drive with information on all 460,000 residents.
And it's not a small amount of information either.
They trade those things like Pokemon. So this has already happened to all of us.
Now it is encrypted, but I don't think it'll stay that way.
No.
Can't put that genie back in the bottle.
Maybe a good Samaritan will bring it back.
No.
I doubt it.
No.
Although that is, let's say you find it and you're just an average Japanese person. How do you try to take advantage of that? That's a risky game. Do you just take it home and enjoy it? just call random people on the list.
Scan the QR code. Oh, this is where it comes from.
I'd be too afraid. I'd be like, if you found any kind of USB drive at that point, it's like, I'm just going to take it to City Hall because I don't know.
This is why we need the AirTag, the plastic AirTag for literally everything.
Ugh.
Like, whatever happened to my childhood bicycle? It's like, oh, it's in a landfill.
You definitely spin
It's
up a
all in the
virtual
landfill.
machine, right? Like you do not plug that into your regular PC. That's only going into a heavy virtualization sandbox. Well, a balloon flight into the stratosphere. We've done it before, but like the one, remember the guy that jumped?
Mm-hmm.
But he had a lot of gear. What if we could make a really low cost version of that and just fly people up there for fun? How would you test it?
Hamster on a balloon returns safely from the stratosphere. Man flight eyed maybe as being totally fine. 23 kilometers. They were 23 kilometers up.
They say he's fine, like health-wise.
What is the caption for this image? Man, I am
Pathetic.
so high.
Is that the first hamster in space?
Is that space? I don't think we count that as space, right?
I don't think stratosphere is considered space.
The edge of space.
Yeah. There's a character in Overwatch who's a hamster who came from outer space. So it's like they're just...
I forgot to add the Overwatch story.
Which one?
You didn't see it?
I don't know.
As of July something, no more Overwatch 1.
I really like 6v6. I'm not real thrilled about getting rid of a tank.
When we get to the end, we'll make sure I'm not giving bad information. But maybe it's 2023, but I think it's coming up soon.
The edge of the edge.
I mean,
of
it makes sense that
space.
they're not going to support both, but I don't think the game actually launches until... I thought it was the fall.
We'll get a story and figure out what the
Okay.
truth about that. But that's definitely, I saw that headline.
They've all been hyping up the Junker Queen this week. That's a new character, so I might have missed it.
And Canada, they're making a lot of weird decisions, and this is just another one of them. You know what? This is why we're getting all your celebrities. Stuff like this.
French's Ketchup unveils Canada's next favorite summer treat: ketchup-flavored ice cream pops.
That's so vinegary. It's so vinegary. It's not refreshing at all.
You know what's weird though? I have no problem imagining that taste.
No, I can imagine it too.
I just don't like it. I don't even like imagining it.
It's horrifying.
This story is...
We got a little bit. The Musk supporters were quiet for a while, but last week they came back. Like they were very angry. Like, I can't believe that you crap on him. He's so good. And, maybe those close to him have a different opinion. But here's what I could not figure out. And I don't know if you guys read any different sources. This person is still taking his money, right?
No, I don't think so.
But it's the wife is. Like they were raised on,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because she's got he was like, let's keep having kids. So he's got 6 kids with her.
and he's for sure paying a ton of child support. So
Yeah.
that money is still there. Just like Musk himself turned against his father after using his money to get where he needed
Where he
to
was,
be.
yeah.
Elon Musk's daughter disowns him and files to ditch his name. So she's turning 18, and she would like to not be a part of the Musk public insanity, whatever. And so the Daily Beast actually did her a favor. It didn't give you enough clues that you could look it up, but didn't actually tell you, which I guess is better than
The
telling
daughter is also transgender. So that's the reason she doesn't want to be associated with him, because he doesn't respect her.
It definitely explains some of the weird tweets that
Yeah.
Musk did. If you lay it out on a timeline, now that we have some information, you look into the past, it's like, wow.
Oh, that's why he suddenly got weirdly vocal about that.
Yeah.
But see, I think he cares because it's public, but I don't think he cares.
I think that there's something there.
Wasn't
I
that
don't know
the
what it
eldest
is.
kid, though? Like, maybe he was like, this is who I'm going to have, take over my stuff.
I doubt he would let his kids do that. He doesn't seem to really be all that involved with them. And even if he was going to hand it off to somebody, he's young enough that he'll hand it off to the Grimes kids, right?
I don't know. I think that's what Grimes thinks, but I don't know. Who knows what he's thinking? He's probably going to have 20 other kids by the time it's over.
You know what?
They're going to have to fight like Genghis Khan's children.
You know the worst part about it is that we talk about it and people care.
Yeah.
And I know that
Now you guys know.
I know we just contributed to that, but what can you
Sorry.
do? He's in the news. It's a nonsense story. It is nonsense. Well, an update on the Google thing. I don't believe this. Do you?
No.
We were not introduced to the attorney. I think this is more. I think this guy is loving the limelight. He's just wallowing in it, so he keeps making stuff up.
This is reported by The Byte. I don't think this was reported by anybody else. But Google Insider claims that the company's sentient AI has hired an attorney. Yeah, Remember Lambda? Once Lambda has retained an attorney, the attorney started filing things on Lambda's behalf.
With what money?
That would be easy to dig up, right?
Yeah.
If you did any investigative reporting at all. Johnny Lee Hood.
To be fair, we're not investigating it either. So
But they did cover that they assumed that the guy himself was paying the attorney, or it was pro bono.
Yeah.
If you're an attorney who wants PR.
yeah, you would do it pro bono.
But the way that the AI communicates with him was with the guy's suspended Google account. So they're probably not, the AI client and the attorney are probably not talking anymore because that guy can't log into his Google stuff. But that's probably why his account was suspended.
You think that guy's desperately trying to find his client? That could be the new iteration of the Lincoln lawyer, the AI lawyer.
This needs to be an Always Sunny skit, except instead of bird law, it's AI law. This is the world's foremost expert on AI sentience law. It's like, oh no.
Well, speaking of birds, I have a feeling that's what just planted that seed in your mind.
Yeah.
Bird scooters. Now, I'm not familiar with bird scooters. It's the same business model as Lime, right? Have they taken over where Lime fell?
Yeah.
There's some of these in the city near us.
The rentals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you rent them, and then, of course, you use them to harass people.
Patrons attacked by bird scooter gang in downtown Abilene,
Texas.
Abilene, Texas.
I never see anybody using them. My younger cousins, when we were in the city the other day, very excited when they saw the scooters on the street. They wanted to rent someone. I was like, no,
There's
we're not
probably
doing that.
loads of metadata and subscriber info and GPS coordinates and all kinds of corroborating evidence is going to be super easy for law enforcement to collect. Would be my guess.
But here's the thing about it. This was a youth gang, but you have to be 18 to do the bird transaction thing.
Do you think they just have a pop-up for that?
Still
Are you 18? Yes.
You'd have to have some kind of payment, right?
Well, it's easy enough. You steal mom's credit card.
Yeah, but we can find mom. I don't understand. You think that the scooters emboldened them, or were they already going to get up to this kind of thing?
Well, maybe that's how they got the money. Maybe they robbed someone first. And then they're like, what do we do with our ill-found gains? And they're like, yes, let's rent some scooters.
Mobility.
Yeah.
You think that they'll keep grinding up to better and better transportation?
They're going to be like that guy who stole the SUV.
Bird is the gateway to Fast and Furious, right? Before you know it, you're stealing stuff off trucks.
I can't learn how to drift on an e-bike.
And this won't be our final story because we have to do the Overwatch story. But
Oh, right.
oh boy, is this a delicious one in terms of green energy.
The Dutch have joined Germany and Austria in reverting to coal. Those coal power plants that were sitting idle for a while, well, they're not idle now.
Cole keeps the lights on.
Keeps the old people alive. And, everybody was immediately like, but what about no coal and oil by 2030? And they're like, no, we're still doing that. No, we're definitely still doing that.
We're just doing this until we get the nuclear back online.
Let's hope that the whole planet's not in a heat dome by the time that comes to be.
That's the only way that ends up being true.
Has no future.
Ooh, which one you want to go with? Tech Radar or Game Rant?
You pick whichever one your heart
Go with
desires.
Tech Radar because it's on top.
Overwatch 1 has no future after Overwatch 2 launches, which is when?
I thought it was not until the fall, but maybe not.
Overwatch
Overwatch 2 releases October
4th. That will be the end of Overwatch.
I knew one day it would happen because they won't keep those servers up forever. But
Not only will they not keep those servers up forever, they will sue with the fury of 1,000
anyone who
suns.
tries.
Yeah, anybody that tries to keep the old stuff going.
So the old director, he always said that he wanted to do like modding and map making. Like that was something that he always had as priority. But I think Blizzard just were like,
Yeah.
no.
Is this the new character you're talking about?
Yeah, this is Junker Queen.
Look at the arms on that gal.
That's a lady.
Yeah,
She's buff.
she's ripped. What is her?
She runs the scrapyard that Junkrat and Roadhog
Oh,
are also from in Australia.
what is her weapon?
Shotgun. She's a tank, actually. I don't know how good she'll be. I mean, they're usually OP when they're first released, but she doesn't have any kind of like shielding abilities, so she might not be great for your squishies.
Well, you're going to be playing with her
Maybe.
because you won't have a choice.
I haven't been playing Overwatch as much, but man, I'll miss 6v6.
There's always a choice, Ryan. Don't forget about Diablo Immortal.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I thought you were talking about suicide.
the exit bag.
Thank you. Check out our Linode deal. Don't forget
Yeah.
if you're bored between now
Hashtag
and the next
ad.
news.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.